So we're taking down just a couple firs today, and got kind of a drop area right in here. Sheds over here, and the property line is right here along these trees. So kind of got to figure out how we're gonna get this done, because one of them's got a crazy top on it. Come back here so you can see it. Here's the top on the fir. It's this one right here next to the larger fir. You see the top kind of shoots out to the right and goes up another probably 50 feet. So we gotta try and get that down either in here or down in that gap there between the shed and the tree. So I gotta figure that one out once I get up there. But we don't have room to pull the whole tree over because of the property line. There's one more fir right back here. That's a pretty straightforward one we're gonna chunk down. But this is the one that will be a little challenging getting up there. So I'm gonna go get my gear on and get going. Careful of climbing up spots like this. You know, this is a huge weak point. Top probably got damaged a long time ago, and now it's got all this rot in here. There's some bugs crawling in there, so I'm probably not gonna go much higher. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this thing, and I'm gonna try and control it tip first down to the ground by just grabbing onto this limb right here. When it goes to the ground, I can have this limb in my hand and it'll rotate the whole tip of the tree down, and I can just let it go at the last second, and hopefully it'll nosedive in that gap right here. Okay, so it's starting to go. Just give it a shove. We'll hold this limb. There we go. So instead of climbing up there where it's more dangerous above this rot, you can just do that simple technique of holding on to that top just long enough to cause it to rotate down, and then let it go at the last second, and you can get it to drop down in almost vertical along the stem. Just be careful you're not doing that with really heavy tops. Don't even attempt it, you'll end up hurting yourself. Now we'll just snap cut these pieces off, throw them right down in that hole there. Go above it or below on your snap, it's up to you. A lot of times I just go below, but it seems to me to not grab your saw as often if you go below for the snap cut in the back. While I'm up in this tree, this is the other one that needs to come down, and you can see where there's a union there, and then the top shoots out to the left here. We got to get that top out of there and not have it way over in that other property. We can kind of shoot for this gap down here in between the foliage, and that's probably what I'll do. But I was just kind of examining this union here and seeing if it's sound or not, and it looks pretty solid, so I don't see any rot in that area, and we can always bore cut it before we go up that side. But anyway, I just wanted to show you while we're up here what that tree looks like. Try and get your pieces to land flat if you can. It absorbs a lot of that energy, so they don't go flipping around or hitting other things and shooting off in random directions. Careful of these nubs. You don't gap out onto them. Move to the side of them if you can. All right, we got that tree down now. Just gotta follow the rest of the stem over, and then this is it. So we start heading up this one and try and figure out how we're gonna get the top out of it and in the direction we need it to go. And then get down here and buck all the wood up to finish the job. So we're here at that split in the tree. It looks pretty healthy. There's kind of a crack going up this way, but nothing that's really alarming that I think would be a problem when it comes to getting out on that thing. So we'll go ahead and climb up there and cut that top out, a smaller top, instead of trying to take the entire top off. But always analyze your tree here before you go up some of these weird ones. Make sure that there's not a huge crack that's separating away from the tree, or rot that you can see, like a hole, a cavity inside the tree. Don't climb those things. You know, it's on a case-by-case basis. It's all dependent on the situation you're in and what kind of tree you're climbing. So just be careful of that. Analyze everything before you go up and deal with something like this. So I got two tops to take. This one up here, I'm just gonna drop right over in this. It wants to be over here. I'm gonna try and put it in that narrow spot right there. This top wants to kind of be out on this. We'll just face it over here just to the left of that foliage. Try and get it to spin around that way. To the top. As you can see down there, this whole thing is all crooked and crazy. We're just going to take the top here. We don't need to go any higher. It is back leaned slightly towards me, but because the foliage is all on that side, it's gonna help pull it over. So I'm just gonna face it right there for that opening. Most of this brush isn't a big deal if we get that, but we'll try and put it as much as we can in that opening down there. That's where we needed it. That worked out good. Now I'll just get down and start chunking this thing to the ground. Pretty crazy view out here. Some of these trees, when you're heading back down them with these huge crooks in them, you got to be really careful that your lanyard doesn't get too much below your waist. Really, you don't want it below your waist at all. And the reason for that is if you gaff out while you're going down and your lanyard is down here by your knees, you could actually invert, go upside down, and if you don't have a harness that's going to keep you in upside down, then you're going to come out of it. So just take small steps as you go down so that doesn't happen to you. And double lanyard in as well, just so that you will have that extra line just in case. So right here in this angle, if I let too much slack out, like my body, I move forward, this lanyard could drop all the way down below me. So I'm just trying to carefully keep pressure back against the tree as I go down so that can't happen. So watch, I'll slack out my waist. See that? That whole lanyard drop down. Sometimes it'll drop all the way down to your knees. You gotta be careful of that. This stem here. So all the weight on this thing is out there. I want it to kind of rotate over just a bit right in here. So I kept wood right here and cut the other side off. We might be able to get it to, oh, got a little more on that opposite side here.
he looketh to the ends of the earth, and seeth under the whole heaven, to make the weight for the winds, and he weigheth the waters by measure. When he made a decree for the rain, and a way for the lightning of the thunder, then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it, yea, and searched it out. And unto man he said, Behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding.